Hey again, if you have been following my channel, I'm an artist, I work on cars, I do welding, a bunch of other stuff, but I've also been going through about a year-long battle of stomach issues, and it really started last November. About this time of year, I started noticing some really adverse reactions to food, and so eventually, 3 months down the line, I wound up being diagnosed with SIBO, and then diagnosed with H. pylori, and then C. diff, just recently, and got treated for that. Well, antibiotics wiped out my gut biome. And the problem with that is, though, is it left me with very spastic innards. And so the only way that I could keep my insides from wanting to kill me is to take Ativan. And the Ativan would calm down the muscles in my stomach long enough to actually, eat and be able to enjoy some bits of food instead of, hurting so bad that I just wanted to ball up and cry. So I took Ativan for about 9 weeks, 10 weeks, and then we switched me over to Baclofen, which doesn't work as well as Ativan. But how I got off of Ativan, I went and read through, because I've had some pretty severe interactions with certain meds, and I've had some pretty severe withdrawal symptoms from certain meds too. And so I was really worried about benzo withdrawals. And it's true. I mean, you definitely do wind up with benzo withdrawals. And I felt a little bit of a withdrawal, but it wasn't too bad. And so what I did, I was on 2 milligrams, which is not a high dose. That's actually a pretty relatively low dose in my mind. But 2 milligrams of Ativan for 8-9 weeks. And so what I did was I cut it down by 1/4 each week. And so it was, I don't know what percentage that is. A lot of people say take the amount that you're taking and then cut that by 10% each week. And I guess that's a good way of doing it as well. I would never suggest just jumping off of it. Even at a low dose, you think that 2 milligrams, well, that's a really low dose. Why don't you just jump off of it? Well, it's Ativan, and it is a very potent drug. And even at 1/4 of a dose, you can feel it. So yeah, you definitely want to taper off of benzos if you're withdrawing from them. The way that I found out, so Tizanidine, which is a muscle relaxer, and I'm probably butchering the way that it's said, and I will add it down here, the typing for it, the word spelling. Tizanidine. That med actually helps a lot with getting off of Ativan and or Baclofen. I used the Tizanidine at first for the first week during my titrate, and in order not to completely just replace it with Tizanidine, because that's not what I wanted. I wanted to get off of the Ativan and not have to use a muscle relaxer. And so I went to the Tizanidine for 1 week and then switched over to the Baclofen the next week, and then Tizanidine, and then Baclofen, Tizanidine. Well, at some point when I got down to 0.25 Ativan, my muscle spasms in my stomach got worse. And so I decided just to stick with Baclofen only. And so right now I'm on Baclofen. I've been on it for, it's coming up to a full month of being on Baclofen. And so I hope that the withdrawal from Baclofen won't be as bad as what people have been saying that benzos are. And actually, I really did not feel any withdrawal symptoms from the Ativan when I completely titrated down onto the Baclofen. I did not feel any ill side effects, I will say. Maybe a little bit bloated, maybe a little bit lethargic. Even though Ativan does make you lethargic, you can actually build up a tolerance to it. I think the Baclofen was actually causing a lethargic feeling, just not feeling well. It definitely is an adjustment, so, give yourself some time and space to do things. And yeah, just every day's a battle. It's just one day at a time, one foot, in front of the other. But those 2 muscle relaxers, I feel are a great replacement for when you're titrating down off of Ativan or any kind of benzo. Adding a muscle relaxer in it, because your muscles are being relaxed by the Ativan, and so you're just moving to a different muscle relaxer so that it's still doing the same job. However, it's not as potent or the same chemical. So anyway, that's my little benzo tip in regards to withdrawing from benzopamines. All right, take care.